So I participate in this really cute, positive, fairly advertiser and OnlyFans free subreddit called Transgoth. And it's funny because apparently right wingers have been getting targeted with this. And certainly I've had the experience of right wingers coming into my channel and saying, well, why did I get targeted with this thing? Oh, you're a tran. But what could be going on here, right? Well, I know a few things about AI and recommendation algorithms. It could just be that the recommender is looking in an unbiased fashion at its dataset and it says, oh, you look like a person who enjoys this stuff. Maybe you enjoy this stuff too. And it can't necessarily tell, it has to actually be taught that it has to segment queers from non-queers. So it could just be naively recommending what it thinks the person wants. It could also be that someone's using their computer, like maybe they have a teenage egg or something who's looking at subreddits like ours and is interested in that. And so that's why they see these recommendations showing up in their feed. But of course, it could also be that this person has some kind of a dissociation going on, some kind of a shadow energy going on. And in their dark moments that they can scarcely remember and can never socially acknowledge, they are actually going out on the internet and seeking out trans pornography. And of course, we know that tons of people in the Deep South love trans girls. We have the data on it, right? So very similarly to the data that suggests that homophobes actually experience significant homoerotic arousal, I think that people who are closeted trans people often bifurcate, right? They split. Part of them likes trans women and wants to be a trans woman or wants a trans girlfriend, and another part of them furiously rebels and fights against that and allies with people in the external world to try and keep it contained. Now, this kind of psychology has always been interesting to me because I remember being 6 years old, 8 years old, 12 years old, and knowing that I was trans. And so I very consciously went into the closet. I was, in a sense, never really in the closet to myself. I was always like, okay, so I have to play along with this until I can find an exit and I can go live my authentic life. And now I'm not saying, I'm not trying to put myself above people who were consciously in the closet, who were unconscious in that, right? But I just think it's interesting that you can either be someone who is completely dissociating these things and can't acknowledge them. Like, I've never actually talked to a trans person who felt that way, but I have talked to gay people who feel that way. There's just not much data, right? And in the present environment, you got to be really trans to come out because they make it so hard for us. And yet, when I finally decided that I was going to come out, I couldn't even say the words. I couldn't say the words, I'm transgender, I'm a trans woman. I know I don't look super cute right now, but that's what I am, and that's what I want to be. It took me 25, 30 minutes of blathering, trying to sneak up on the words, trying to make my jaw do the thing, because I would just think the words and I'd seize up right here. The muscles would actually seize up so that I couldn't say them. And I just kind of wonder. I wonder what these people would act like and the types of stories that they would tell if they could put themselves back together. Because there's clearly some kind of identity fragmentation going on with them. And that's also, by the way, why I think being trans is so weird. Because I find that in general, I'm invisible to people. I'm literally invisible, and oftentimes I go into the grocery store and people run right into me because they're off in some kind of a hallucinatory dream reality. Like, I know that everybody's conscious experience is a type of hallucination, but my hallucination seems to, like, very accurately reflect the outside world. Like, I really see what's in front of me, right? And but some people, it seems like they don't. It seems like they actually can't see things that they don't want to see. They actually can't see things that don't accord with their conscious idea of what they should see, the types of people they should see, and who they are. In a sense, even though my meditation experiences in my early life were inside of like a really misogynistic dojo where I was forced to stifle a lot of parts of myself, it did get me started with meditation and my meditative practice. And so I learned to be very aware of what was going on in my mind and very open to what was going on in my mind, even if I couldn't talk about it. And so that is why I don't entirely take transphobia seriously. I know that transphobia is real and dangerous, and a lot of people suffer because of it, and a lot of people are in acute physical danger because of it. And that's awful. But whenever somebody is really transphobic, I think, oh my God, what's it actually like for them? Like, are they the part of themselves that's violently angry and trying to keep all these things away and is completely unaware of how horny for trans girls they are? Or are they locked in and they're watching in silent horror as their body goes on autopilot, as their mouth and lungs talk for them and say all these things that they don't really believe in? I wonder. And I think we'll never find out for a lot of them, because the tragedy is that some people are so far in the closet that they're never going to come out.